kill with the warrior poet, spitting out the facts, artillery loaded, perfecting our craft, yeah you know we devoted. I know what I want so I'm staying focused. You hitting up my line, it's on do not disturb. Don't need a fool who can't even back up his words. Had to burn bridges and take different roads. You might think I'm toxic, but homie, I got goals.
Bro.
How about
bro,
you?
That's one thing I can do for sure. Talk, bro.
How about you baptize this one?
I'm down, bro. Yeah. Let me see, because last time we kind of had a little bit of hard time getting this.
Are we gonna need a blade?
That would probably be ideal if you have it, or like a pen or something to stick it through there. And that's how we opened it last time. So look real quick, check this out. Oh, thanks, bro.
Let's see. Brothers' bond is the story of time and quality. Two things we all cherish in life. We feel each moment of our friendship has led us here to create this exceptional bourbon that we are thrilled to share with you. We are giving back a portion of profits from every bottle sold to support regenerative agriculture, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and they have like a couple of award-winning, like if you see on the other side, I think on the on your
okay.
page, right there, they have like some awards or something like that, no?
Gold winner, American Spirits Council of Tasters, 96 rating, Cigar and Spirits magazine, 93 rating, the Taste Panel magazine, and then best bourbon from Rolling Stone magazine.
That's wild, huh?
Bro, these are accolades, dude.
Yeah, if it's Rolling Stone, you already know you're doing some shit.
I feel like we're gonna be drinking liquid gold right now, man.
Bro, hopefully you like it, man. I'm more of a whiskey. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know the whole like how everything categorizes.
Me neither, man.
It's tough. You have like Scottish whiskey. You have like bourbon blend whiskey. You have whiskey. You have bourbon. All like bourbon. You have just have some different shit, and I don't know it all. But I barely started getting into whiskey because of that. Actually, I'm not gonna lie to you. I started drinking the bourbon that they used to drink at the show. It's called what did I tell you it was called? Went completely blank.
Cheers, my brother.
Hopefully you like it, bro.
Definitely smooth. Spicy.
Yeah. Everybody said the same thing. They were like, it's a little smooth at first, and then it's a little like this little kick at the end.
It creeps up on you. Wow.
Yeah, bro.
I like this. I like this a lot because a lot of people are like, "Fuck that cinnamon shit," like the cinnamon gum or the spicy cinnamon candies.
Yeah.
I love that shit, dude.
Oh,
I love it, dude. So
cool.
This is like right up my alley.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Have you ever seen that show?
No, I have never seen Vampire's Diary. I've gone in up to Supernatural. I still need to go big down the line, you know. But there's so much to watch, man.
Yeah, it really is, man.
And I wish I had more time, you know.
Definitely. And it's a little cheesy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's I'd say it's like people are gonna hate me, bro, but I think it's like a better version of Twilight, in my opinion. I think because it has that like
Shots
drama.
fired.
Probably gonna get killed because of that, but
You're gonna get canceled and you still haven't even.
right? I barely got here,
Yeah,
man.
You're gonna get me canceled,
Dude. And oh my bad, but it's pretty cool. It's a lot about like typical relationships, drama, sci-fi, like that type of stuff. They also have werewolves.
You know what I did watch, and my daughter actually put me on the Wednesday show on Netflix.
Oh, that new one.
Yeah, and I like the it's like this teeny bopper dynamic that they got going on, but then with the supernatural shit and then with her actually having like a superpower, you know, where she can see into the future, you know, or she sees how you die rather, you know.
So she has like some type of it wouldn't be a power. It's kind of like a como un don,
yeah, intuition, premonitions, kind of thing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I mean, she's going in a school where everybody has some sort of like, there's werewolves, there's vampires, sirens, you know, and sirens manipulate you, and that's against the rules in the school.
Oh, got it. That's cool, bro. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, that's probably like what's trending a lot right now.
Oh yeah,
especially the video in that scene
with the Lady Gaga song. Yeah, I didn't know it was Lady Gaga at first.
I didn't even know. I'm barely finding out right now.
They sped up Bloody Mary. That wasn't even in the show. That song that you're seeing trending.
Yeah.
It wasn't even on the show. That's Lady Gaga's sped up Bloody Mary. The
Wow.
dance, dance. Yeah, that's Lady Gaga.
That's cool, bro. That's cool. I didn't even know it was her. That's wild.
Yeah, I like Lady Gaga though. I'll tell you.
Bro.
That's why I was like, I
She
don't.
was hard.
She goes very hard. And then I was listening to Fame again, and God damn it, such scandalous beats. It's like making my brain melt, you know?
It's amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great musicians, you know, and then we
We're talking
yeah,
about
we were talking
yes.
about The Weeknd,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Abel, and that motherfucker just goes another level. Like he always knows how to refine himself, you know. Like listen to her first stuff and you think, wow, how can this get any better? And it did.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, let me find out and see. I want to see, what is your favorite album?
After Hours.
After Hours?
Hands down. Yeah. I
That's
wanted
respectful.
to love Dawn FM as much as I loved After Hours, but I couldn't.
I'm gonna help myself because I can't just have this staring at me.
Yeah, bro. Serve me
Of
a
course,
pronto.
of course. I was gonna be like, let's get another one. It's really good. Off topic, I want to go back to talking about The Weeknd, but I really enjoy drinking whiskey and bourbon, and you know, because you can just kind of sip on it and you taste it. It's an acquired taste, you know, that you get.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna sip on this one.
And me too.
Cause a full shot of this delicacy, it is a little bit too much. I'll say that. This is definitely not I'm gonna get fucked up by shots.
Yes.
This is I'm
Enjoy.
gonna smoke a cigar.
Yes, dude.
Man, this is a great spirit, as the elegant people say.
Never heard that, but
Yeah, like everything that's wine or whiskey and stuff, they're spirits.
spirits.
Yeah,
Interesting. You do learn something every day.
yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a type of thing that you just kind of sip on, you taste, you enjoy. And it's an acquired taste like cigars. I've always been wanting to because I have a couple of friends that do cigars. They smoke
Right.
them. And I've tried them, but it's hard. You have to...
You have to know what you're
yeah.
doing. Yeah, you cannot like. It has to get to the point where like you get a head rush, but not to your lungs. Because if it gets to your lungs, you're fucked. You know. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Alrighty, we're back. It was like a few seconds. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the whole point of living your life. I think it's just to learn at least one thing. You know, a little bit a day goes a long way. You know. But when you travel to, let's say, The Weeknd, right? Like, how do you prepare yourself, like, mentally, you know? Like, because I don't know. I just feel like I'd be going crazy.
Yeah, going back to that. So I'm not sure everybody knows, but most likely there was, because of the pandemic, everything was pushed back. We were so psyched, bro. Like, we didn't have the money because it was a couple of friends that we wanted to go. It was like a good 10 of us. And the tickets, we had to get them together. So, dude, I ended up, you know how much I really wanted to go? And everybody be together? I ended up getting a loan, bro. I was like, I'm going to get a loan so we can buy all of them together. Like, right now. 2,000, let's go.
Okay.
We were just so dedicated to go. We were like, let's do it. And then we got them. You know what? Like, we're excited. It's approaching. I remember it was going to be around the same time, like around August. But this was, I'm going to say 2019, 2020, around there.
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic hit. We're like, damn, all right. Then we're going to wait. And then they postponed it for the next year. But at that point, we didn't know what was going to happen. Like, we were just kind of going along with, like, you know, okay, the pandemic's going to be 3 more months, a month, 6 months. But at the time, we didn't know. Like, I think nobody knew we were going to be, like, in that situation for that long. So we were like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And then they ended up, they said that at first we're going to keep the tickets. Like, you're going to keep them for the next year, right? So you would just keep your tickets. But then they ended up saying, you know what, like, he wanted to play at an arena. He ended up playing at the arena, I think it's the
T-Mobile?
Steelers. Yeah, right there
in Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been the T-Mobile.
Yeah, I can't think of the name right now, but he ended up wanting to play there, and that's an $80,000, like 80,000 people arena. I think it was gonna be like double what he was gonna play at. So then we were like, all right, I mean, it's probably gonna be better. It's gonna be bigger. Like, he's gonna have a whole show.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you saw, right? There was the moon, like moon.
Well,
setup.
I follow him on Instagram, and I see how he like has his setup, man, and it's very he's reminiscing to the sacrifice video, right, with the red woman in the gown.
Yeah, so that's kind of the theme. I mean, I'm not sure it has various like themes to it, but like for example in the show, they come out with like they have like they look like the KKK but black. Like they have the black what would you call them, like gabardinas?
Yes.
And then they're like kind of like it looks like they're gonna do a retro, bro. They're like all walking in the line, like they're just slowly walking. And then like it looks like they're gonna fucking sacrifice someone. Like it's crazy.
Well, there's darkness to that, man.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of darkness to
with
him.
this content. Yeah.
Do you understand his symbolism? Like when you see the show, like do you feel like he's projecting something to you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's a lot of things to him. He has like alter egos. He has like obviously the Weeknd is his alter ego. He's able and all the good things that the bad things that he justified doing. That he does, like the drugs, sleeping with women, cheating, and stuff like that. That's the Weeknd.
Yeah, it's like Slim Shady.
Yeah, there you go. Funny enough, I was actually watching one of a long video yesterday, like off topic, but I was watching a video of like him and Kim's relationship. It's just crazy. That's crazy that you mentioned him, but yeah.
Yeah, man. That guy was he just had a lot of bad luck until he had one good moment, you know, and that just goes to show that in life you might be going through shit after. You know, just we all have our ruts and we all have our little streaks where we just don't see where the light at the end of the tunnel is, you know.
That happens, bro. And let me just go back real quick. I mean, we like to the answer that you
yes, please.
You were, like, how do you prepare? We weren't prepared, bro, for sure. We were just like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Like, we didn't see him and what's gonna happen. And you think you're gonna cry, you think you're gonna be like go crazy, you know. One thing for sure now, for certain, I was I'm gonna watch that fool rolling.
Like that. Damn. And then
I'm like, I don't know, bro. I mean, shit. And then I was like, should I?
Okay, so you're considering it, right?
Yeah. So we were like, I don't know. His music is so crazy. And we were like, okay, well, let's see what's up. And then we had already gotten the tickets. The pandemic happened. We had to wait. And then he ended up saying like, oh, you know what? It's going to be at an arena now. So then they gave us back the money and then we had to get tickets again. So we were like really stressed because we didn't know if we were going to get
What was the markup after everything was said and done?
So we got the tickets for, I want to say it was like $130 because we got them
each.
Yeah, $130 each. We got them pretty early. I think the tour started like around, it was going to be June, July, August. And I think there might have been one in May. But we got the tickets till like the last shows. So obviously the first set of months they were going by faster, and then we ended up getting the ones like around August towards the last. So we were like, okay, let's get them, and they were cheaper because they were not as close. And then what happened is that when they gave us back the money, we ended up having to buy them again, and the double in price. Them was we paid like $300, but it was so worth it, bro. I was like, wow, fuck, it's amazing. Like going to
it was an experience.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, like you were saying, he's such a good artist. A lot of people maybe they see the commercial and it's fine. Like he has like catchy songs, you know, that are cool, but there's just so much to him.
Yeah, there's depth to his lyrics, to the imagery he brings to his videos. I like his color choices also. You know, they're very vibrant and eye catching. You know, I've been checking out the YouTube Kids stuff. You know, and it's disturbing to me because they're using color to initiate the interaction with the child, right? They're using these neon colors, neon yellow, neon blue, neon green, neon pink, right? And they're just clicking after click, 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 right? But I see Abel doing that a lot too, you know, but he's doing it with like these earthy colors, you know, and then adding like that one neon red light at the end of the tunnel, you know? But what tunnel are we on, you know?
All right. Have you seen when he announced the Dawn FM, like the Dawn is coming? And I don't know if you saw, but the trailer, he's just walking in. I'm not sure if it's a sunset. It looks more like a sunset because it looks orangey.
But it looks like a desert too, right?
Like a desert.
Sunset in a desert.
And a desert because it looks just like playing like that. And then he's just walking towards you kind of on the side. And then you can just see like orange with yellow. and then everything else is black.
Yes.
It looks so captivating, right?
I know, dude, and it's like in his album covers too. You know, like he knows how to make that blue pop on off the leather jacket. You know,
Yeah, I really like that a lot. That collab that he did with Swedish House. Funny enough, I didn't tell you. Swedish House Mafia played in Vegas the same day that The Weeknd played.
So
afterwards, and they played at a club later that night, and The Weeknd pulled up.
oh shit.
Yes, dude, we missed him, bro. But he was I mean, there was no way we were gonna be able to see him. They shot him out though. I'll show you a video later that I got. He's like, "Who came to see The Weeknd tonight? We came to support him." We're like, "Fuck!" And then my friends and I were like all beat. Like it had been like a long day. We went to see The Weeknd, and then we went to see Swedish House after. Cause my friends, we hypothesized, we were like, he for sure has to pull up to Swedish House. Like,
ding, ding,
ding.
You know?
Yeah, dude. They ended up playing that song there. Swedish House played it, and I heard that he was there chilling in the VIP. Yeah, like I guess he wasn't gonna be like out there because everybody would like be like,
Yeah.
It's understandable, but
So it was more like a club show, that one.
yeah,
Okay.
it was actually at a club. It's the club is called XS.
XS.
Yes, it's right
Okay.
there. Like in the strip. I forgot the name of that hotel. I don't know what it's called. It's not like the Caesars or the Bellagio or like the main ones. It's kind of like almost towards the outside, but I forgot what it's called. It's really nice stuff too.
Okay, gotcha. Man, but I mean, just like the way people actually react to these things, you know? Like I've seen that happen a lot where like and it's probably been with who was it? It was Kid LaTory and Justin Bieber. Like this guy was doing the
Oh, the Kid Leroy song
yeah,
that they have.
but an acoustic, and everybody's just chilling there, and oh yeah, well, I just want to welcome somebody over to stage, and then it's Justin Bieber, and everybody freaks the fuck out. Like those are the kind of situations where I'm like, man, what a treat, right? Like you're over here just expecting this, and then you get the full blown course meal, you know?
I love it when artists work together with other artists. Like you already have like an appreciation for one artist, and then you see them get together and they have such good chemistry. It's just amazing.
You know who I have to thank that to? And it's the Latino community, man. If you notice, all the reggaetoneros, all of them were working together from the get-go. They were all lifting each other up,
Yeah.
getting each other's singles and each other's albums and each other's fucking hit, whatever the fuck. Bad Bunny, J Balvin, come on, that's a dynamic duo right there.
Oh, for sure.
You know, but they go way back, you know? And it's like this ego has been dissipated because people realize that, like, if I stop using you as my enemy and as my ally, then who the fuck is gonna fuck with me, you know?
Yeah, and I guess in the sense that I think ultimately they're all after the same thing. Maybe the money, but also like spreading that joy like through music. I mean,
Yeah.
they're artists, so they express themselves through music, and they want like for people to be able to relate to that, to jam out to that, like to relate to that, so they can express themselves. You know, because there's that song you have like that you're like, oh, like I was never able to put it into words, but that person did it for me. You know. So that's awesome. Like,
Well, when you hear a song and it brings tears to your eyes, you know, and I'll fucking be the first one to say it, man. I'll put something on the radio or on the Bluetooth while I'm driving, and I'm by myself, of course, right? But I'll fucking start bawling my eyes out, you know, like their music is that powerful.
Yeah, it's amazing, or like how it brings you back to, maybe an event in your life or a feeling that you used to have, and it's just like, oh wow, I used to be there then, but now I'm here. But now it reminds you of how you used to feel back then. You know, It's crazy, it's amazing. But that's cool. I had never thought about that, like how the Latino community does that.
Well, I was noticing once I started seeing like The Weeknd with Maluma and stuff like that, I was like, oh, it's gonna start becoming a virus. You know, everybody's gonna start. Because look at it back in the 80s, right? Michael Jackson, Prince. They were gonna work together in the bad record.
No, wait, that I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Prince and Michael Jackson were gonna bury the hatchet, and they're gonna be the dynamic duo that everybody wanted. You know, but their egos were just so fucking inflated, both of them. You know, but it got to the point where like Prince was like reading the scripts of like the movements and stuff, and the lyrics that this guy's Michael Jackson wrote, and he's like, bro. What do you mean your butt is mine? Because you sure as fucking gonna say that to me, you know? You like, it got to that point, you know? Like, you cannot say that my butt is yours type of shit because I'm Prince, you know? And yeah, that never came about.
That's interesting. I had never thought about that. I mean, why wasn't there collabs like that back then? That makes sense. I mean, then you have two big like powerhouses.
Yes.
They're gonna be like, nah. I mean, I don't know. Back then it was a little bit different, but I'm glad that we don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of ego still in the music industry, but probably not as much as Michael Jackson. That motherfucker had, I mean, everybody was calling him the king of pop, you know? So he definitely must have felt like royalty on some level.
Speaking of Michael Jackson, I mean, my guy, The Weeknd, he just kind of resembles him a lot. I know a lot of people say that he doesn't. I grew up listening to Michael Jackson. I'm pretty sure he did. Who didn't, right? Like, it's amazing. Do you see that cover he did of Dirty Diana?
Yes, of course. And it's like on point, dude. Yeah. It's like it might as well have been Michael Jackson,
right?
You know.
I like that they pay tribute. Like, I love seeing artists.
Well, listen to Sacrifice very, very closely. That's basically Thriller, man. It's basically Thriller.
That's not a bad comparison, and I see exactly what you mean. It has that like
the dirty bass that he got going on.
He has that mysterious kind of like dark but thrilling, hence Thriller, you know. But
yeah,
that thrilling like sound, like as if you're running from something, like it's a little crazy.
Yeah, it gives you anxiety, you know. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's because I was actually gonna deviate into another topic, but I do want to wait on that.
Oh, okay, real quick. I just really like that he brought like the character to like he actually brought a character. Back then he was just the singer, right? Up until maybe Beauty Behind Madness, and then once he like buries himself and then he reinvents himself into the Starboy.
Yeah.
And then after Starboy, he like becomes like the crazy like
psychopath,
maniac, yeah. And now he's like he wears the suit, like he has a trademark, you know.
Yeah, and that what's funny about that is like he always has that under his belt. Like if he ever wants to do an After Hours too, bro, come on, like the storylines and the everything that he can bring to the table with our sequel, you know. I think that should be a trilogy, to be honest with you, you know.
It's actually funny enough that you say he claims that the Dawn FM is going to be the first part.
Oh, okay.
The first part. Yeah, a lot of people actually think that After Hours is part 1. But
yeah, because from what I'm understanding, it's like this guy had a crazy ass fucking life. He was just going pedal to the metal.
Yes.
And then he ended up dying. And then when he dies, he's like filled with regret and all this shit.
Yeah, so he ends up, I guess, I'm not sure if the voice that he hears, which is Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's awesome. I don't know if it's like his consciousness or if it's like some type of guide, but he like kind of guides him through that that after death, like, you know, that I was telling you about, that he's kind of going back and revisiting what he did, if he's complacent with the life he lived or he has regrets. Right. And obviously he has a bunch, so he just kind of goes through all of them. Like, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. And there's a lot to read into it. Like, I'm sure, like, you have your own preconceived notions of what you understand, you know? Because he's not being overt, you know? He's being very, very vague. Like, I have this gnawing notion that, like, no matter how much we think about it, we're never going to actually find out what he means, you know? Right. But between the death of this character, if he did die, and this whole situation, where do you think it's gonna lead, you know? Because now he's like dead, supposedly.
That's a good question. I try to think about it, because I mean, now he's dead, so what would happen then?
Yeah, what's next?
I mean, it probably is gonna go not back in time, but it's probably gonna be between the After Hours and then Dawn FM. So what happened in between that led him to die in the first place? Or, you know, that's what I can think of. I mean, probably, you know.
Bro, but like, we're talking about these characters, right? Like fucking Jim Carrey, right? And he's like a woke ass motherfucker, you know. And he's always talking in this very cryptic way, you know. He goes to what's his name? Jimmy. Not Jimmy Fallon, the other Jimmy.
That was the first person I thought about.
Jimmy Kleinfeld? Jimmy Kimmel.
From where? I'm really bad with
late night shows.
Jimmy
Kimmel, you're right. And then he's not important if you don't know him. Yeah. All those late night shows, you guys suck, man. You guys are fucking bought and paid for, you know? If you guys want real news, you guys want real information, come to the Warrior Poet Show. Where the laughing tongue, the all laughing tongue will be featured every single time. We're not satanic. We're not satanic. So that's essentially what Jim Carrey does when he walks in. He just starts fucking doing all of this Illuminati shit. And then Jimmy Kimmel's like, what are you doing? What's up with that? And he's like, bro, don't act like you don't know. Don't fucking act like you don't know. You know what I'm doing.
Dang.
Yeah. And then he's just like, bro.
That's crazy. I mean, funny enough, I was watching a video of like Jim Carrey talking about like, because I mean, I would have never guessed Jim Carrey and The Weeknd, like what? That kind of collab just came out of nowhere. But Jim Carrey was saying that The Weeknd was conversing with him, and he expressed to him that the Mask was one of the first movies he ever saw. So he just had like that's where it inspired him to do The Mask and the new like the new face of The Weeknd.
Right.
So he's doing that mask because now he's
So from experiencing the show, can we get a little bit more background on the mask situation?
I still okay. So what I've understood, I guess when they when YouTubers dissect the meaning behind it and stuff. So basically, The Weeknd wants to recreate himself, so that's what the mask is for. So he's trying to mask the old feelings that he has. He's trying to like mask the old phase that like the old everything, like his old past life, his sins, his all that type of stuff. He's reinventing himself. But now Jim Carrey is passing the torch in a sense because he used to wear the mask. Now he wears the mask.
And he talks about that heavily, you know that? He says, and the most fundamental level, like these actors are hurting, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's like, the most controversial character I ever played was Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was a character, my friend.
I know. That's crazy.
So it's like you're living a lie and you know it, you know? You think you're just appeasing the public, but in reality, you're just eroding little by little, you know?
Yeah, I guess I can't speak for myself because I've never been an actor like that, but from what I've heard, and like some actors get caught like in their character and then they kind of lose themselves. They don't know who they are anymore. Now, like say for example, I think he's stated before that every time he'd be seen in public, like they wanted him to make jokes. Yeah. They couldn't take him serious. Like we forget that he's an actual human being. He has feelings, so that like that got to him, and he was going through a hard time because of that.
And he's so intelligent too. He's not just any human being. He's Jim Carrey. They're Jim Carrey, but he's not just funny. He's funny because he's smart. Like if you notice, all of these comedians, they're hilarious. But how are they able to convey this 1 hour show and have you laughing from beginning to end? Because they're smart and they know how to set up this storyline where you're captivated by it and that you're giggling at every pothole of the road, right? But then you get to the finish line and you realize that it all comes full circle. How did they do that? With intelligence.
Yes, correct.
You know? And when you hear Jim Carrey talk about like the nefariousness of Hollywood, the nastiness of like these fashion shows, like he goes to fashion shows like, hey, what brings you here? We haven't seen you in a while. You haven't been in the limelight. And it's like, well, I was just strolling down the road and I was trying to see what meaningless thing I could do, and this seemed like the most meaningless thing I could do, going to a fashion show.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then the lady's like perplexed. The reason I bring up Jim Carrey in this stance, because we're talking about music, it's not only because he came out on a music album, a very great album by the way, but because we have another artist who has been getting a lot of heat, and that's Kanye West. He talks about the 808s. Do you know about the 808s?
I do not.
The 808s are these frequencies. I listen to 432 hertz. 432 hertz is a great way to regenerate your heart chakra.
Interesting enough, I was hearing about that. It's a weird comparison, but I heard that Extentacion does the same thing. He actually goes a little bit above.
Extentacion?
Yes.
Yes, they all do that. They all do that on some level. Marilyn Manson uses 808s, and he even uses frequencies that make you nauseated or even want to vomit. They're very grotesque frequencies, But the 808s are very much bass, very heavy vibrations, very wide boom, 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 like what the shamans used to use, like with the drums. That's how they would be able to get you in a trance, not just with the peyotes or the hallucinogens and the rituals, but they had this boom, boom, the 808s, right?
Like the actual, like what they would hit, like
Yeah, those are 808s, and so like once you get in that trance by the frequency, now the lyric becomes the command. If I hit it one time, I'm a piper. If I hit it 2 times, then I like her. If I fuck 3 times, I'm a wifer. It ain't safe, it ain't exactly. So now you're just there like hypnotized and thinking like this is fucking some gangster shit and this is me, And I traded out. As soon as I listened to that, I put on that No Limit by G-Eazy. Yeah. And man, I wanted to go rob a bank and murder somebody, dude. And I'm like, oh, this is legit. This is fucking legit.
That's crazy. Through frequency, huh?
Yeah, through frequency. And then you put on like a flute, a piano symphony. Man, it also gives you energy. Funny enough, because that's the reason you listen to these beats. That's the reason you listen to Metallica, right? Because you want the energy, but that's deadly force. Deadly force should only be used in a situation like that. But if you live your life using deadly force, no wonder you're fucking needing to drink 3 Red Bulls a day, because you're using too much precious energy, But like these frequencies that I'm talking about, the higher frequencies, they calm you down. They lower your anxiety levels as a opposition to the 808s, right? And so there's always an opposition to everything. And these frequencies, they also give you energy, funny enough. But it's just like you're not trying to like punch a hole in a wall. You're literally trying to construct something, One frequency seems to be destructive and the other one's more constructive.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that. And what made you want to bring up Kanye in the first place?
Because he's all over the fucking internet, Like, God damn it. Like, it's the same with Andrew Tate. I just feel like we're human, man. Like, in hindsight, everything's perfect. But I don't know how I would react in their situations, right? But, like, with Andrew Tate, he should have just stayed in the whole, hey, you guys work hard, be the best person you can be. He should have stayed away from the woman topic, right?
Just real quick, sorry to interrupt. I'm not good with like artist names a lot. Like who's Andrew Tate? Where does it come out?
You don't know Andrew Tate?
I probably do. If I see him in face,
Andrew Tate is the guy with the shades. Like he's just saying, make that bitch make you a sandwich.
Does he have like the curly hair?
No, he's bald.
Andrew Tate. He comes out on he podcasts as well, right?
Oh, dude, that's why you're going to heaven, man. That's why you're going to fucking heaven, dude. You haven't listened to Andrew Tate.
He sounds so familiar. Like, if I see him, I'd probably be like, I know him, but not by name.
Bro, he's not an artist. He just came out of nowhere this year, or last year, rather. Like, mid June or July, right? He just started fucking telling people, like, if you are fucking taking shit from a bitch, you're a bitch. And he's just trying to, like, make these beta males alpha, right? Yeah. And he's trying to... well, the problem with his message, though, was that he's basically telling men to tell their girlfriends to make them a sandwich. And if she's not going to make them a sandwich, tell her to fucking fuck off,
I think I'm not going to lie, I think it's coming...
You must have seen at least one clip, because this guy has been all over the goddamn place. But it's a good thing that you're not too much ingrained on this realm, right? Because what's going on with him is that, like... I mean, rightfully so, right? He went a little bit too far with the misogynistic stuff. But I think it was just to bring him to the dance, right? Like, I think...
To become relevant or something?
Exactly. So if you want to pierce the veil of, like, all this oversaturation of content, you have to be scandalous. Yeah. On some level.
Yes. And
I understand that. Like, the scandalous shit is always looming on my end. So, like, I have no shortage of that, But, like, I think when it's taken to that level... And people are going to oppress you. People are going to try to silence you. And people are going to forget that you actually have a good message to send. So I'm definitely taking notes from all of this. Because I think that most definitely there's a problem with masculinity and the way we're viewing it,
Oh, definitely. And going back to, not everything ties up to that. But like The Weeknd, it makes you like know that it's okay to have those type of feelings.
Yes.
So that's what I like about it too. Like he conveys that like it's okay to feel like men are not like, oh, tough, like you can't cry, all that stuff. Like,
Well, he shows you that he feels things, right?
Correct.
He feels jealousy. He feels rage. He feels indifferent sometimes. Oh, fuck it, bitch. Suck my dick and get the fuck out of my house. Like, he is a human being. He feels all these levels. Like, I feel like people are too caught up on wanting to look like a good person. And I'm more caught up on the idea of being genuine, you know?
Yes.
And sometimes being genuine, I'm going to step on your toes or somebody else's, or I'm going to say something that's honest, but out of pocket. You know, and that's you don't want to be disrespectful either. That's not what I'm saying.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is that, like, you don't want to be a liar. You know?
Sugarcoating stuff just to make them feel better and like you.
And same thing with women, you know, like, I think that we're not gonna fucking have to say, like, the whole, like, if you're not wanting something serious, that, like, you could say that's fucking easy to do, you know, like, it's just a lack of communication between the man and the female situation. I think, and that's why there's a lot of issues, you know.
Discrepancies. That's a way to put it. That's interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, with Kanye, on the other hand, he is talking about the Jews.
I heard about that.
Yeah, he's talking about the Jewish people.
Like, I always been a fan of his work. He's a genius.
Yeah.
But I don't understand if he has a plan in mind, or he does it to stir the pot. Like, he just wants to create some type of chaos. But to me, every time he either says something on like Twitter, that's what he mostly uses, right? He just wants to create some type of not diversion, but like, I'm still here, I'm saying something. Like, he just, for no reason. Like, when he was saying about that, I don't follow, like, what he, like, I don't follow him close enough to know what's going on. But he's so big, and like, everybody, like, you find out one way or another, or like, you hear what Kanye said, you just see this, or people repost about it, and I'm just like, what is he going on about now? Like, what's going on? Like, what's...
Well, he says that he's probably autistic on some. He's on the spectrum. I believe that. There's something quirky about him, because he's really smart and he can lyrically speak with elegance. But when he speaks, just speaking, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? There's a lot of incoherencies. But you know what he's doing? He's grabbing a puzzle piece, a puzzle. He's grabbing the box, right? And he's starting to throw the puzzle pieces up in the air. Oh yeah, fuck the Jews. Oh yeah, the Jews fucked me. Oh yeah, this, that, and yeah. And I probably shouldn't have said it like that, because, you know, I am all for the Jewish people and the Muslim people and all the people.
All races.
I'm all for the people, right? But
that's what he's saying. Yeah.
The reason I say that he's throwing puzzle pieces is because they're incoherent by themselves. But if you start grabbing them and you start putting them together in the right order, right? Not just like the way he's spewing them, but in the right order, he is making a lot of sense, goddammit. And it's so funny that, like, Balenciaga had let him go while he was saying all this anti-Semitic shit. And then...
Adidas did too, no?
Adidas did too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Adidas, I feel like it was kind of like raunchy to me, because it's like Kanye. Because of Kanye, you guys have this competition. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people that like Adidas, but I think that without the Yeezys, they don't compete with Nike. But then again, I don't know too much about the shoe biz, so I'm talking out of place. I like Nikes, you know, personally. I don't even like the Yeezys, but I just know that everybody loves Yeezys.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't like them, but I understand, like, the hype, you know?
Yeah.
They're an interesting shape.
Made by Kanye.
Yeah. Made by Kanye. That's too. Shit, if the Weeknd dropped some shoes, I'd be like, maybe I'm going to cop some. Something, you know?
Dude, yeah. Some Dawn FM or After Hour Nikes. Fuck yeah. You know, or it could be some Crocs, man. There could be some the Weeknd Crocs, and I'll buy them, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like that, bro. But
I wanted to go back to that point you were saying about the puzzle pieces, you know, like, a lot of people back in the day, they thought they were crazy when they would say some type of shit like that, like random shit that didn't make sense to most, and then you're automatically labeled as a crazy person, which is not the case. And like, I understand that, because he's really smart. He's really, he's an artist. He most likely doesn't do shit just cause. He must have predetermined, like, those type of things. I'm gonna say this with the reason behind it. But the way he goes about it is just interesting to me. Like, I wonder what like what's the purpose? Like, does he have a reason why he goes up to it like that? Or maybe that's just his personality. I know he's a little hard-headed. He's a little, like, you know, so I don't know. I guess we'll never know on this.
Well, we could definitely theorize.
Definitely.
I think it was just to get out of the Balenciaga thing, you know. I think he was genuinely upset about just being scammed or you know, stiffed in a deal by a Jewish or a Jewish dealer or something. I don't know how business goes on their end of the fence, but what I can tell you is that after he started saying all these things, like Balenciaga dropped the child pedophilia stuff, right? And it's like, yeah, they're doing ad campaigns with children while they're holding this bondage, this teddy bear with bondage gear. Yeah, dude. It's like, what the fuck?
Where was that? Where was that at? Or
Their fucking website, dude. And you know what? And this is hot news here. First, you heard it first on the Warrior Poet Show. I was gonna put it on my story, but it's very great content. Balenciaga feels like they're in the fire, right? So they want to make things right. So by doing things right, they're gonna have to partner with another powerhouse to make things right, right? To clean up the act. Guess who they partner with?
it's Kanye.
No, they kicked Kanye out of the picture.
Oh, prior. Oh,
this
like
is after the fact. After
okay.
the child pedophilia stuff. They partnered up with Disney, my guy. I mean, if people are not gonna fucking rise up and say, "Hey, fucking A, like, keep my children safe," like we don't understand the type of programming that they're planning to impose on children, but it's gonna be insane, man. It's gonna be insane, and I'm telling you this because the fact that we're showing queer theory, Black history theory, and all of these confusing concepts that in reality, like, every time you put a judgment or an ideal or some sort of title or label on something, somebody else is going to disagree with it, you know?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
And then that's where the confusion rises, you know? And if you're telling young boys that it's okay to feel weird about your masculinity, and if you want to chop off your balls, you can, as a 7-year-old. Imagine how many 21-year-old to-be men are going to be filled with regret by having this gaping hole in between their legs.
Oh, yeah.
Not being able to have any type of sexual experience ever.
Well, they didn't even really have kids if they wanted to. I mean, their own genetic kids.
Exactly. So it's like they're destroying masculinity for one. So we stop procreating. Go down I-10. They're telling us to stop having kids. Stop having kids.
I've seen it.
Yeah. We're not overpopulated. If anything, we're underpopulated, you know? I'm sure people hate traffic, but that's just because that part of the fucking world that you're in, it's oversaturated with people. It doesn't mean that the world is overpopulated. Some shit hits the fan. We're fucked, man, with the amount of people we have right now. But it's going to keep lower and lower and lower and lower.
It did for those 2 years. People were dying, you know? I mean, with the pandemic.
Yes, dude.
So many people.
Yes, a lot of people did go down. Yeah, and it goes to show that, like, or it makes you question things, right? Because this isn't a natural thing that happened. This virus, this C word thing came out of nowhere, right? And the theory is that it came out of a lab.
I heard about that too.
You know,
wouldn't put it past it makes sense, you know.
Dude, I have Hitler's Table Talk right here, and I've been getting very acquainted with this man. This man was a genius. This guy was a genius on a fundamental level. He had so much general knowledge. He could sit down with a couple of Jewish, aristocrats, rich people, Jewish people. Bring them over to his house. Have dinner with them. Conversate with them. Have fun with them. Laugh with them. Send them off. He's just taking notes. You know, he's I think the devil is characterized by fire, right? I think the devil is more like water. He takes the form that he needs to take, right? Like if you put him in this bourbon bottle, he'll become the bourbon. You know, you put him in the water bottle, he'll become the water. And you think you're getting what you want, right? Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I want a buzz. And why would this be the devil, right? It's giving me what I want. Sometimes your prayers are being only listened by the devil. And when they're answered, literally the next day, best believe that somebody's trying to like lead you astray, you know?
So let me ask you, what is it that makes you think that he's a smart individual? Or because yeah, there's always going to be two different sides. Obviously, people are going to focus on the bad. Mm. So I'm intrigued to see what made you think that.
Well, what made him great? What made him very, very intriguing on my eyes, at least. What made him a contender in the grandest scale is what made him an evil person. So there seems to be this colliding thing where like the greater the individual, the more nefarious he has to be. You understand? And it's like there's also this very, very renowned samurai. He is actually regarded as the best of all time, and his name is Musashi. I mean, you read his Book of Fire Rings, read the novel, and you'll realize that he was a very spiritual man, a very humble man, a good man. But he was also a murderer. He killed a lot of people because he would constantly sharpen his blade. He would constantly try to go in battles. He would constantly go in duels, sword fights, bouts that ended in death, just not his, you know? So it's like, is that a good man or a bad man? In my eyes, he's a good man, but he killed people. And this guy killed a lot of people too, but the only difference, like the intention, his philosophies, the way he thinks, the way he acts, his discipline too. He didn't have no discipline. Hitler was a meth addict, a drunk. He just like, you could fucking see him tweaking out in the Olympics, jerking off with a gun and shit. Like, what the fuck?
I seen it. It makes me wonder. Did you know that he was gonna die in World War I? They saved his life.
Yeah, dude. He fought for the military. Yeah.
So it makes me wonder. Like, that's interesting. He was given a second chance.
I wonder what the doctor who saved him must have thought afterwards.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like, I could have stopped it, or I don't know. I mean, or the person that gave him that chance. Like,
well, you have to understand that that's not his job. It
really isn't.
That's not his job to make judgments. Again, judgments are very, very detrimental for humanity. You know, because the moment I deem you to be bad, then you are completely cut off from my resources.
Correct.
Because why would I let the big bad wolf into the hen house?
Correct.
You know, so at that point, if you're hungry, you're not going to be fed by me. At that point, if you're in need, you don't need me, you know. I don't exist to you. You don't exist to me. And that's very fucked up, you know. Because if you're hungry, I should be able to feed you.
Correct.
You know. Like, but it's just because at some point I decided that you were a bad person, I'm going to let you die, you know. And
I mean, at that
what
point,
does that make me?
No, correct. Because you're acting up on your morals. So, like, if you say someone, you're not going to be thinking, like, oh, is this person going to do bad or good? Like, there's not going to be a determinant. Like, you as a human do that to another human. Like,
yeah,
that's the moral thing to do. And, like, if that's what do you believe? You want to do it out of the kindness of your heart. And that's what I think this is missing a lot like, in society. People just rather not do those type of things if there's no
ROI.
Like, yeah, if it doesn't benefit you in any way, or what if this, what if that, like, how's it going to help me? Like, people are just doing it from the kindness of their heart, you know? Like, that's what makes you a good person, and that's what makes other people want to change, and that you just spread that positivity, you know?
I see it like a domino effect as well as like a farming, right? You're just planting seeds.
Correct.
Or like you're pushing that one piece and it's just... And you don't know how far it goes. All you did is do the first move, you know? So that's a beautiful part of it all. But with Hitler, I'll tell you this. And let's forget about the Hitler for a little bit. I'm not devoid of these emotions and moral thinking, right? Idealistically speaking, I wish I was like that. Where, like, if I deemed you to be bad, I still feed you, I still clothe you, I still do whatever a good Samaritan does. But that's not the case. If you're like a child molester or something like that, I wish you death.
Correct.
I find you to be grotesque, but then it's very difficult, right? Because so much spirituality in these scriptures. There's so much beautifulness, but it's basically saying to love this piece of shit, this pig that should be castrated and then murdered. And I wish it could be by me. It's like, that's how deep my hate goes for these type of people. But I have to learn to let go of this hate, because it leaks onto something so nuanced, like my coworker getting in my bubble and I want to fucking punch him in the face. But see, if I could forgive, and if I could love the child molester, then anybody who gets in my bubble will get a hug, not a punch in the face. It goes like that. That's how fundamental hate goes, and that's how deep it goes.
Definitely. And just like you were saying, I mean, I was just really curious as because I know that a lot of people follow his, not his words per se, like his ways, but there's always good to the bad, like there's always, they only focus on the bad. So he must have had some type of ideology that, we're not comparing, but for example, Charles Manson, he had like a big base, fan base, to this day, people still worship him. It's totally different, but it's two people
Similar.
Similar in the same that they were seen as bad people, both, which they did their bad things, of course, but they have other, other teachings, other ideologies that a lot of people don't understand. We just have to kind of dig deep, understand it, because it's interesting,
Here's the tactics. You want to get a crowd of ignorant people, or at least people that are more ignorant than you, right? So and if that's not the case, right? If the general public is definitely on a higher scale than you, then you say less, and you project yourself as something grand and majestic and filled with wisdom and power, The problem is that this man was very, very dynamic in his speech, very eloquent, and he knew that he was dealing with a population of people that were starving, that were going in a economic decline, and they needed somebody to get them out of this rut. He pinpointed all these things before he got on the podium, and then he pointed the finger at the people responsible for all of y'all's pain, the Jews, of course, and the rest is history, But we have to watch out for characters like that.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know how far Putin's gonna want to go, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes out for that guy. He's scary.
Everybody's scary in the government.
Yeah, even in our government, Hillary Clinton is somebody to be not trifled with.
Not gonna lie, I've never been really much into politics. I think it's important to be aware of the situations, be educated.
Mm-hmm.
But I just see how it divides people, and
yes.
I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty that I try not to waste my time on uncertainty when I can just focus on things that are certain. Put my energy in things that I know for sure are certain.
So I'm guessing you don't vote.
I do. I actually do. Yeah, I do vote.
Oh, shit.
Because you have to participate, you can't.
I tried to vote for the November.
Yes.
And then I was in line. I was like, man, fuck this shit. And I'm like, my vote doesn't even matter. It does matter.
It does. Yeah, it does feel like that sometimes because.
I'm just a lazy cunt again with the creativity bullshit.
We were talking about that. Yeah, that's not gonna change everything. Yeah, you have a say in who's gonna, lead your nation, but I think if we all focus on individuality and we help together in our own way, because we just think that by voting for the right person, that's like everything's done,
Yeah.
What about you? Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you're just gonna put all your future in like someone else's hands, like based on what they say. Like, I don't know. I just rather focus. Of course, it's important to be aware of who's gonna run the nation. Not just gonna have some random guy. You wanna educate yourself in the matter, but I think you also have to educate yourself and work on individuality. Be a good member of society, and that helps. Like, you help other people, they help each other, and that's how it works.
You're making a great point too, and it should be highlighted, which is you can only control what's in your vicinity, right? Correct. So you can control what's in your power within you. and probably up until there. But like you could definitely impact your community,
Correct.
your neighbors, your city, maybe your state, and then let the state impact the rest. You know, and then I'm guessing that's what you're saying. You know, like it becomes a domino effect when you when you manage this.
Correct.
Because if you're too worried about what's going on in Washington and what Trump is doing and Biden is doing, and your fucking life is dog shit, man, you have different things to be worried about.
Exactly.
And you see that a lot. All these purple-haired motherfuckers trying to fucking talk about this, that, and the other politically. And I'm like, bro, get your fucking life together first, man. You're over here drinking 3 Red Bulls for breakfast, and then you want to get on the fucking live and talk shit. It's like, dude, clean your room. Do some push-ups. Eat right. Lay off the energy drinks. And see what happens, you know? That's first above all else, you know? Like making sure that this is A1, grade A, you know? And I feel like, me personally at least, when it's not the case, I actually feel like I shouldn't even do podcasts. I shouldn't even have an opinion. I shouldn't even have a voice, you know, because I have work to do.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
It's good. That's why I like talking to people a lot, because you get different insights. Like a lot of things that, you know, I've never thought about, like, you know,
Right.
It's always good, you know, then I think, like people watching, or it makes them wonder. Cause I mean, pretty sure when you see a podcast, you know, you start wondering, you're like, people bring up these topics that are not talked about enough. And you're like, you're right. Like what's going on with that? Like, or you get different opinions. So that's awesome.
Yes.
I mean, so I hope you don't stop doing these type of podcasts, because they're pretty awesome, man.
Dude, and it's just opinions. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point it's going to get to the point where, like, somebody's going to chastise me for my opinions, right?
Correct.
But it's like, I'm not saying it's a matter of a fact. Like, everything that I said up until this point is just my opinion,
Your opinion,
you know? And I should be entitled to it. Like, all these other people getting canceled, they should also be entitled to their opinion, no matter how scandalous or grotesque it is. You know, we should, if we disagree with it and if it's morally false or incorrect, we should, as a community, guide them into the lights rather than to cut off their tongue and tell them to shut the fuck up, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up. I mean, it makes sense though. Like people who follow like a certain podcaster, they agree, or maybe they don't agree with everything, but more than anything, I think they like the way you think, or maybe they like
Absolutely.
But it's just a matter of being able to learn to agree to disagree. I think at the end of the day, I'm like.
But isn't that like the same case with religion? Like you choose the dogma that resonates the most with you.
With everything, it's just what the problem is that people don't respect other people's like beliefs or ideas. Yeah, that's the problem here.
So the problem is not choice, right? Because choice is wonderful.
Yes.
The problem is the fact that you're telling me that my choice is wrong.
Correct. Like, exactly. That's what it comes down
And
to.
even worse, you're telling me that your choice is the end all be all.
Yes, like if it's not this, then you're wrong.
Bro, I've been reading the Bible, not the Quran and shit like that. The Bible, dude, and there's a lot of shit that I don't fucking agree with. I go to catechism, and there's a lot of shit that they say that contradicts themselves, and I have to raise my hand and say, hey, but like you just said this that collides with the other statement, and it's like the concept of war and saying that like the people who died. So, like women, children, and bombings, or random shootings and shit. They're not the victims. The victims are the soldiers, because the people who authorized the wars, the people that wanted to go to war, are not in the war. They're the bureaucrats signing the papers, and I understand that. But it's like
I never thought about that.
It's like if it's not a draft situation, you're signing yourself up. You know what you're signing yourself up to. Like I would never be under the false pretense that I'm in this military complex, whichever branch, and that I'm not gonna have the possibility of having to aim a barrel down somebody else's face and then shoot them. Like that has to be in the back of your head every single day if you're in the military. And if it's not, I don't know why the fuck you're in the military, and I'm scared for my safety now, And it's the same thing with cops, They think that I see cops that are overweight, and that to me is like, what the fuck, man? Don't you see this fucking shooting epidemic we got going on? You need to be like fucking The Rock, man. Like The Rock, man. Being able to carry 2 AK-47s on each hand, a machete in the mouth, and like Swiss knives in your toes, man. Like, you need to be able to end the target on the spot, man.
Correct.
Especially here in Texas, man. Like, the fact that we're still debating what to do with this fucking Walmart shooter is beyond me. Why is this even a question? Like, if it would have been me, and maybe I'm not going to use the race card because that's not where I usually take this, you know, but probably if it was me, I would have been one of those targets that got eliminated on the spot. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to see a day in court.
Yeah, of course. Funny enough, well, not funny enough, but actually they bring that up. I used to work at Walmart. I used to work inside the Walmart, the bank.
Dude, that's where all the fucking nasty shit happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was off. I was
just
off.
gave me chills, dude.
I saw it. Dude, I was off that day. I was off.
But you were supposed to work, or that was just your
my day off. But I actually...
Just by the grace of God.
Dude, let me tell you some crazy shit, bro. So, that day, that Saturday, I was going to go to Juarez because I had, like, a dentist appointment, me and my friend. I had already, like, done my appointment. I'm like, oh, where do you go to, like, for dentist? I'm like, I go to Juarez. I'm like, I bet. They do pretty good work, whatever. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go with you. I'm like, bet. So the night before, he ended up staying at my house. So there's, I used to live back then by Zaragoza in Mountwood. They know that Walmart right there by, like, Peter Piper.
Okay.
Peter Piper.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I used to live around those areas, right behind it. There's a Walmart right there. Mm-hmm. But I was going to go to Juarez, and I was going to stop at the Cielo Vista because I was like, should we just go to this one, or should I go to Cielo Vista? Like, it's on the way to the bridge. And then he's like, nah, let's just go to the one on Cielo Vista. That way we can just already start heading there. We stop there quick, and then we go.
Yeah.
So then
to downtown and across the
yeah, and across the, yeah. And then I ended up going. He waits for me in the car. I go take out money. I'm like, all right, let's go. Normal, dude, normal. So then I get in the car. We go to Juarez. Dude,
hold on. Just to because I'm a dumbass, to understand. You actually went. It was your day off, but you still went to work.
I still went.
You still went to your place of work, which is on Cielo Vista.
Yeah, it's crazy, right,
dude?
So like even though I was off, I still managed to get there somehow before. I think my appointment was around 10 or 11. We're actually running a little late, so I ended up getting cash because sometimes it's better to just pay cash because sometimes your card, like your fees, or sometimes they won't take it, you know. So I ended up getting down. I got some cash. We dipped to Juarez, and then we got out of the dentist. Please, thank you. And I get like all these texts, bro. Everybody, like, they're texting me, why are you answering? Like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, what the hell's going on? Dude, they tagged me on the Facebook video. The first one that was like, I think it was someone was underneath the tables at the McDonald's, right next, like, you know, there was a McDonald's inside of Walmart.
Yeah, like on the
when you enter.
side?
Yeah, on the left side. I saw a video where they were just recording, like,
oh, when they were like underneath.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on? Like, and then like every time I hear the news, it just kept getting worse. I kept hearing like, oh, there's like it's like some
10 dead, 12 dead,
yeah,
15 dead.
I keep hearing that they were, you know how at that point there was like supposedly another shooting at the mall.
Oh yeah, or that he like or like he migrated to the mall.
Yeah, and then they started saying like, oh, it's a organized like crime with a couple people. There's a group of serial killers terrorizing the mall area, like Walmart. I think they say it's Sam's that's like right next to it. Mm-hmm. Dude, I was like, what's going on? Like, and then my friends and I were always like, that's crazy. Like that could have been me. Like I stopped.
And emotionally, how did you feel? Because like, let me tell you, like, it's so funny when you tell me, how did you start with the podcast? That was like episode number 2, dude. I recorded the first episode like with my selfie camera, and as I was like flying over to El Paso because I worked out of town, Walmart shooting, and then I talked about it, and I felt a lot of emotionality, dude. That's actually what kind of like pushed me to want to join martial arts too. Like it made me realize that I'm vulnerable, just as is, right?
Yes.
But then it also made me realize that like I want to be a protector, man. And like if I don't know if I have the balls, to be honest with you. I want to be the one that eliminates the target and saves the 20 people that died. But I don't know if I'll be a coward. But I do want to be at least trained and have a weapon, you know? Because I did hear about one individual that had a weapon in the situation. And he was just like helping people evacuate. That's beautiful. But like when you put things into perspective, it's like, man, you had the weapon, you know?
I didn't know about that, actually.
Yeah, there was somebody with a gun and license and everything.
What ended up happening? Did he get, I mean...
Well, he was just helping people get out. And in the heat, like I said, in the heat of the moment, like, what is the right decision, you know?
So nothing ended up happening to him? Like, did he get, like, not charged? I mean, because he didn't do anything wrong, but did they ask him, like, why he didn't do it? Or because I didn't know about that.
I think he was military trained, licensed to carry, and then he had his weapon on him. Yeah. So it's
What?
Like, yeah. So again, I'm not chastising him because
No,
again,
of course.
what
I mean,
the fuck is the right way to act in those situations, you know?
It sounds, yeah, like you think you would be able to react, but most likely you probably won't.
Yeah.
Especially, like, you know. But, I mean, more than anything, I'm grateful, man. That's probably the closest I've ever been to death.
And it's funny enough because I have something very similar to you, and I have a line of questioning after I tell you this.
Yeah.
But I'm from Denver. I'm from Colorado.
Yeah, I had known that, I think.
I don't know what's wrong with people with the elevation over there, but I mean we're tainted. We're tainted by shootings as well. We have Columbine, and we have the Aurora shooting. The Aurora shooting happened with the Dark Knight Rises premiere.
I remember that with the guy with the orange hair, like
Yeah, he dressed up. He had this Joker face paint war paint, and then he dressed as Batman, right? And it's very it goes. It I don't know how to say this, man, because I told my dad, man, I mean, come on, I have
Batman,
Joker.
yeah.
I mean, I'm all about Batman, and as a fucking 14-year-old kid, I mean, come on, and I had to see the premiere. I wasn't gonna fucking miss it. And my dad's like, bro, the premiere's on midnight. It's gonna be over here in Aurora when it's a shoddy neighborhood, to be honest with you. And it's like, dude, like there's the rest of your life that you can watch this movie, and you have school tomorrow. Okay.
Out,
you know, when dad tells you what to do, it's very hard to say no. When mom says something, then you could protest a little bit. But when father says something, you have to shut the fuck up.
You use
know?
that ethos, like, I'm gonna be like, oh, but I want to go, you know?
No, there's
work
none of
around
that.
it. Yeah,
no, there's none of that, dude. You
not
just
with
go
dad,
to
not with dad.
Not with pops. Yeah, you go to your room and shut the fuck up and maybe cry a little, but that's about it.
Keep it low, because then he's gonna tell you to keep it low.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be even worse if he hears you cry.
Yeah, like you cry. I'll give you something to cry about.
And so the next day, dude, he wakes me up. He's like, come here. He takes me to his room and he has the TV on, the news. Look what the fuck happened where you wanted to go. The shooting, dude. Yeah. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how like these situations happen and you're like, yeah, of course I'm thankful to God and all this shit. But then I wonder, why did God go through so much trouble to keep me out of the line of fire, but then these innocent people, no, you know? And I'm not saying that my life was more valuable or whatever the fuck, because this murder, you never know. And I'm not immortal. Of course I'm going to die at some point, but it's like, man, I do feel like I'm like one of God's favorites because of shit like this, you know?
It's always a blessing. Like I said, I mean, I said that I'm not really political, but I'm also not religious as much. I think there's always good little pieces of. I think there's a name for it, but I don't know what it's called. Where you kind of create your own religion, where you take pieces of.
Well, I mean, you're spiritual, and you could tell that. Like, let me tell you this: like people who are godless, you can tell. You can tell, like, you have no substance in the way you speak. You have no energy in the way you present yourself, and you're very shallow. And that's nothing compared to what I'm dealing with here with you. You know, like you're a very genuine person, and you've always given this strong energy, this strong vibe. I've always felt like I have to give you respect, even when I didn't know you that well. You know,
it's awesome, man. I'm really flattered. Makes me feel good. But I mean, I've never really been that religious, but when it comes to that, I think there's a greater, being, and
Absolutely.
Things do happen for a reason. And I think I'm a big believer that when it's your time, even if you, there's a saying in Spanish, I think believe it goes like, cuando te toca, ni aunque te quites. Si no te toca, ni aunque te pongas. So basically saying, if it's your time, whether you get out or not, like if you step back, it's your time. Or if it's not your time and you put yourself there, it's not going to happen because it's not your time.
Yeah.
That's just how it works, and I'm a big believer of that. And I guess it wasn't my time. I don't know if it was, split decisions, bro. I told you I could have gone to the other Walmart, but I chose to go to that one instead because it was more convenient in my opinion. I was gonna pass by there.
It was in the route. Anyways,
yeah, it was on the route. Yeah, you know, or I could have, I don't know, for whatever reason, been chosen to work that weekend, but I wasn't. So that's kind of crazy, you know. Out of all the weekends, you know, especially, you know, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And you mean, your dad didn't know for sure, you know. He was just kind of like, he saw you go to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's too late, you know. We can just go next week, or you know.
Yeah, and the idea of a 14-year-old boy going to a fucking movie at midnight, it sounds like dog shit, you know. It's like, try again when you're like 21, you know.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
And even then, you probably won't go because you're like, oh, I'm gonna be so messed up.
Dude, yeah, it's like if somebody tells me to go to a movie at midnight, I'm like, what's wrong with you, man?
Right?
Like, do you have no respect for yourself?
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. But I'm like, I'll go early. If not, then I'll go next week. You know.
Do you party? Do you?
I like the occasional drink.
Yeah, but you don't go crazy.
No, I wouldn't say that. I enjoy events more than anything. Artists, I like when seeing like DJs. I like seeing DJs. I like EDM music a lot.
Oh, okay. Like raves, stuff like
yeah,
that.
it's really cool. But I still enjoy like the small things, like just going to a park, stuff like that, chilling, watching movies.
Oh, gotcha. So, are you gonna join Bushido or what? Are you still considering it?
The which one?
MMA.
Oh yeah, I was telling you about that. I'm thinking about it still. Most likely, I have a friend that she took. I think I told you, right? She took me to one. She started one of the classes. I think it's called Planet. Is that what it's called? En Trevino?
Oh, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay.
She took me one of the classes there. It's really fun, dude.
It's like a little chess game, you know, like all of these other techniques that, like, if you merge them, like it's a transition, you know, like I get you in this position, but only because I want you to get in that position.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna set up the other position, you know, it gets like that.
So what's your forte? Like so a lot of people are better.
I'm a striker.
You're a striker?
Yeah.
And for example, I don't know much about it, but like, for example, I know that you can do kickboxing and you can do just regular boxing. Just up here, or like using your legs,
right?
Or on the floor, like jiu-jitsu. What would be Muay Thai? Is that what it is?
So there's definitely a lot of disciplines. There's MMA, which is everything.
Correct.
Kickboxing and Muay Thai, which is
locks and.
Well, the Muay Thai, I believe there is some takedowns. There's some sweeps, but that's about it. You have to let them up, right? But and kickboxing, there's no takedowns. There's just like straight up knees, kicks, and punches. And then boxing, that's where the money is at. So that's kind of where I'm going to focus on. But this is just general knowledge. Again, like, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a devout anything, but I'm just getting all the information that I can possibly get, you know? So, like, if you're a great wrestler and you take me down, then at least I know that I have a chance of still beating you if I get you in a choke or a lock, you know? Because somebody your size with a good wrestling background, I'm fucked, dude. I'm fucked. It doesn't matter how good I am in boxing and how bad you are at that. You're going to fuck me up, dude. You're going to pick me up and slam me on the ground, and that's all she wrote. Like that, bro. That, like, people think that, like, just because you could scrap a little bit, like, you're indestructible. No, dude. I've seen a lot of bad motherfuckers go down.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's technique. It's awesome. I really enjoyed it. I had never tried it before, and it's badass, dude.
Yeah.
It's badass. I always do. My favorite movie, anybody who really knows me, it's the Never Back Down 2007 movie. You know, that movie, it's like about MMA.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Never Back Down.
I forgot the name of the main character, but it's ultimately it's kind of like the same story that Karate Kid has. Ultimately, it's kind of like this kid, this new town.
Yeah.
He meets this guy who's a bully, bullies him, kicks his ass, and then he trains with
he
finds
a sensei or the coach.
Or the coach, yeah. And then he ends up kicking his ass. Kind of like that, but instead of karate is MMA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
have you seen Warrior?
Warrior isn't that
with Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it, but I heard it's really good.
That one's also pretty good. I mean, it's very difficult to make good combat movies without making them corny. You know, it's difficult, you know. But the first 3 Rocky movies, and I always say this, man, they made me cry, my guy. They made me like fucking feel like, man, look, I have a chance too, you know. I could be Rocky, you know. But then you get to Rocky 4 and 5, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here, you know? Yeah, they just stopped in the trilogy. anything that's good, it's a trilogy. You know, I mean, the House of Balloons.
Echoes of Silence and
Yeah.
Thursday. Oh yeah.
Oh, is that what it symbolizes?
The trilogy right here.
Fuck, dude. So you're very, very much ingrained in this like universe that he has
Yeah,
created.
he's my favorite artist. I've always looked up him. I love it. I love it. Just everything about it, like his music, his interpretation, his persona. I like how. And have you noticed that he's not really like scandalous?
No, he's mysterious. He doesn't
Yeah.
do interviews. He doesn't. You don't see him wrapping his Ferrari around the light
Yeah,
post.
I love that. He's not about the. Obviously, he loves the luxurious life, but he's not like one to be like, oh, just got me a $20,000 watch. You know, he's kind of like low key. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing. Nobody knows my business. You know, he does his art, he drops it. He's like, okay, if you want it, you know, it's there. If not, then it's cool. You know, I like that.
You know, I think in any realm, like which is movies, music, and any type of content creation, there has to be this element of mysteriousness, this mystique that just drives you to want to know them more, to want to see more.
Yes.
You know, and then you have artists like Cardi B using the 808s. Of course, she has everyone brainwashed. But I see everything about her. I see her cooch, I see her booty, I see her titties, I see her tongue, even when I don't want to. So it's like, there's no mystery with that woman. I know her inside and out, literally. So it's like, I'm good on that, you know? But with Abel, it's like, who is this person really? Like, The Weeknd, I know. The Weeknd morphs. The Weeknd can be whoever the fuck The Weeknd wants. But who's Abel? Like, and why The Weeknd? Why, you know? Like, stuff like that I really do enjoy, like yourself, you know? I like to be put in a position of suspense.
Yes. Want to know more? Like you're not. I mean, how do I put this? Like there's more than meets the eye. You know, it keeps you engaged. You know, want to get to know more of that person. I believe, but just this whole like persona is amazing. But
I've been studying this Mexican this Mexican actress, La Doña, Maria Felix. Look her up, dude. Like
Maria Felix.
Yeah, she also. It's because like the moment men start, the moment men stop engaging in wars and combat, the way we've been doing for basically the beginning of times, and we start incorporating these tactics that women use, like The Weeknd, because that's all it is. That's divine energy. That's the femininity within us, you know. That's why we resonate with it, you know, because like sometimes you need that. You need something to like make you flexible rather than rigid, you know. So femininity is definitely creativity, you know.
So this woman who it sounds familiar said
She's an actress, right? But like
what did she come out on?
she came out on a lot of old movies. She's like from the times of Cantinflas when it was like, yeah, when it was like, I think they dated or something too, you know. So, but like, it's like, she was an icon at the time, and the Europeans thought that every Mexican woman was like her, but that wasn't the case because at the time, like in the 1950s, 1960s, she was fucking talking about not needing a man, being her own woman, being a boss bitch, like everything we're fucking experiencing now.
No.
She was like basically the pioneer. Like what Marilyn Monroe wanted to do, she was.
Oh,
She
wow.
was in politics. She would be going to Cartier and they'd be making her custom jewelry, serpents encased it with diamonds and stuff. She'd be going with you know, like with Europeans and stuff. It was crazy, man. It was crazy how like she was able to captivate the world and still keep this mystery to her and this power. There's power in that, you know.
How did you hear about her?
How did I hear about her? I think she just came out on my feed randomly, right? And then because I'm into the occult also. Okay, your face is like, oh,
You saw that?
yeah.
I was like,
oh,
what?
here we go.
I was like, wait, did I hear that right?
Freemasonry, the Illuminati, Satanism. I don't practice it, but I study it because
It's really interesting.
Napoleon Hill wrote this book, A Conversation with the Devil, which is kind of like a
Heard about it.
like a inscribed version of a podcast where Napoleon Hill is interviewing the devil. And the devil's basically saying, yeah, I want y'all to be drinking. I want y'all to be smoking. I want you guys to not have discipline. He explains how the devil, if the devil did exist, and if he did talk to the devil, how he manipulates you and how he...
Vices.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And that's all it is. You know, sometimes we just need to put a name to it so we can feel better. You know? Oh, it's the devil.
That's what we were saying right now, like how it can be manifest in the water and drinking.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly. But so Maria Felix just came out of nowhere into my feed, right? And she captivated me immediately, because when I saw this interview, she wasn't even in her heyday anymore. She was an old woman at this point, and she sounded like an old woman. She even gave me witch vibes, like dark witch vibes when I was looking at her. Her eyes about to like bulge out of her face, her eyebrows like literally like... And the reporter goes up to her and she's like, Maria, how do you stay so vibrant, so energetic? Let me tell you something. My secret here, look at all these people wanting an autograph, saying hello to me, taking my photo. What I do is I rob them. I rob them of their energy, each and every single one of them. And then she laughs. It's pretty good, huh? All of y'all's energy is mine. Shit.
Dude, that made me feel like, oh shit.
I told my mom, because my mom, she knows her, you know? I'm like, Mom, did you know about this lady, Maria Felix? Oh, yeah, la doña que aquí para allá, Mexican icon. I'm like, she's a witch, Mom. No, that's just how she was. She was, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go on that route, because my route is more of the occult, the mysticism, but it just goes to show, like, if you could perform, say a certain thing, frame yourself a certain way, now all of a sudden you're a witch. Now all of a sudden you're a vampiric, an energy vampire, a succubus. You're a Satanist. You're whatever the fuck. But in reality, you just let the masses go crazy. You're just a normal person like anyone else. You know, we never want to admit that Abel is just not the Weeknd. He's Abel, and Maria Felix is not the Doña. It's just Maria Felix. But we want to mysticize them. We want to deify them. We want to. We have to.
It's just that natural curiosity of like wanting to know who they are, if they really, you know,
Yeah.
who are they? Who like deep in like.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think, like, let's say you become famous, and then people start like studying your life and seeing where you came from and everything, and they start seeing like little gestures that you do. They're gonna start thinking, oh, Illuminati, because he by accident went like this, right?
Or like yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, Illuminati, and here's the proof, and he said this. Watch, he likes to take people's energy, you know.
That's a good idea though. Now I just kidding.
I will recommend to you a million things right now, because it's being recorded and you could always look back, but read the 48 Laws of Power, and this is essentially what we're talking about. This is Maria Felix. This is Abel. Like, you have to create a character that has the spiritual veneer, that's pagan like, because it's earthy on one end, but it's also very spiritual, very elevated, you know. So it resonates with your humanity, but it also entices your need to glorify a false idol. Paganism never goes out of a fashion, dude.
What was that? You want me to read? Which book was it?
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
Yes.
Sounds interesting.
Yes, it's a great book. Yeah.
So that's basically what it talks about, like.
Well, that's one of the rules. That's one of the laws.
One of 48.
Yeah, one of 48. That's a lot of great information, and you're gonna see how, like, some people are actually fucking with you, and they're manipulating you.
And ultimately, what is the purpose of the book? To be a better person? To...
Well, it depends on the person. Like, if you buy a gun, what is the purpose for a gun?
Everybody has a different purpose. Yeah.
Because if I'm a fucking mass shooter,
you're
there's nothing good about what I'm gonna use the gun with. But if I'm a military man, or I'm a aficionado, and I like to hit the bullseye, it's fun. It's fun, and I should be able to, you know.
So is the book more like open interpretation?
It's a weapon.
Okay, and you can apply it to however you want to use it.
Yeah, if you're a good person and you get this information, you're gonna become an even better person. Unfortunately, the same is in reverse. Yeah. So I am very careful with the people that I recommend this book. But I mean, it's just information, you know. Like a lot of people, one of my friends got queasy, like literally in chapter 2. He's like, dude, I don't want to get close to this. This is some evil shit. And like, this is just teaching me how to fucking play everyone. This is just teaching me how to be a bad person. I'm like, yes and no. Because you have to understand that like these things are having to be taught to you because you're a good person. There are people who are born with these innate abilities to use these laws and bend you to their will. And so you don't know what's going on until you read this book. And when you read this book, you understand that this narcissist, this piece of shit, is he has your number.
So you ultimately become knowledgeable, so you're able to defend yourself from
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
You can put it into play too. Like you can do the same, but in a good way.
In a benevolent way. Let's say you are a business owner. You have your construction site or whatever the fuck, and or real estate agency, sales or the carpenter. Something's going on, and it needs to be said that like a good leader is not the one fucking banging his fucking fist up in the air and telling people what to do. That's a boss. A leader manipulates people. And yeah, it sounds horrible to say, but it's like, hey Karen, hey Cheryl, how are you? How you been? Oh, okay. Do you want a cup of coffee? The boss is telling you if you want a cup of coffee. Okay. Well, guess what? Cheryl's gonna work twice as hard because you were a servant to your own servant. The master became the servant. Now your secretary loves you. She will die for you. She will do anything for you, right? And same thing with the carpenter, right? He's having some issues with the electrician. You fucking find what the issue is. I know fucking Craig's a fucking dickhead. Let me go talk to him. I know fucking Josh is a dickhead. Let me talk. You know, it's like you never get married to anything. You always stay fluid.
That's interesting. I never heard of that book before.
It's hard. It's hard to play the game of power, man. Have you seen Game of Thrones?
No, I have not.
You have not, dude?
No, I know. God, I've been sleeping on it.
Dude, I have to write.
You have to give me a list of things.
Fucking pen
I have like a list of homework,
okay.
right?
I know, dude.
I have homework on top of my homework.
Well, it's wonderful because I love the fact that we have been able to have this very consistent podcast without very, very little context. Like we don't have
like a script or anything.
We don't have anything really to talk about. But next time you come on, bro. Next time you're gonna be like, bro, what the fuck? Maria Felix is a witch. You're right.
Dude, you best believe I don't have my insight on it. I'm just gonna be looking into it and I'm gonna be like, bro.
Well, tell me a little bit more about you. Because a little background between you and I, we go a little bit back. You know? A little bit's understatement, you know?
Right?
But I mean, man, we've come a long way. Like, how has it been your journey? I feel like this literally has been the first pit stop since high school.
Legit, dude. Oof. I mean, all people know that it's crazy, and like we never think it's gonna be like you think it's gonna be. But I'm still going to school, trying to get that situated. Studying accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I became really a fan of the gym. Like in high school, I got like this love for the gym, and ultimately that's
man,
like
you got big, man. I mean, you were stocky, but you got big.
Yeah, right now it's been tough with school and work. It gets really tough, but yeah, it's one of the things that I'm really interested. I've been trying to travel.
And are you into like the bodybuilding scene or just being fit, being strong, being healthy?
I think a middle. Like I think it's good to do it for like the physique to look good, but then it's a big motivator for me to when I stay on top of my gym like routine. It makes me want to do better in all my other aspects, you know?
Isn't it crazy though?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Like the moment you start going to the gym and you think that you're doing yourself a favor. Oh, I need to rest. My pussy's hurting, right? Next thing you know, your fucking pussy got enlarged and it stinks and your life is shit because you didn't go to the gym that one time. Yeah, just that one time.
It's a domino effect like you were saying.
Uh-huh.
So what happened is that, I mean, for me at least, I'm pretty sure most people feel the same way, but you wake up early in the morning, so what happens? You feel good. You get energy off of like, being active, and then you get home and you're not tired. So it makes you want to be like, okay, I'm gonna clean the house. All right, clean the house. All right, I need to get to homework, and then you stay proactive, So that's one of the things that I really like. I don't know if you ever heard of the gym Schroffs.
Gym Shops?
Is the gym Shroffs like on East Side?
No.
I never seen it. Well, there's this the owner. His name is Mike Crazy. I look up to him a lot, dude. He's ex-military. He opened a business of his own gym. He's a bodybuilder. He competes. He's like a big dude. He has a badass physique, bro. Real aesthetic. I aspire to be something like that.
Yeah.
He's really cool, man. He's a nice dude. He has like his own like supplement line of like.
Oh,
you know,
shit. So
yeah.
he's really hustling.
Yeah. He's like, he competes. He does all these things.
You know, here's my initial thought when you said that, and judgments.
No worries.
And I'm not gonna say that like you have to stop judging things because they come. You have to acknowledge their judgment, because as soon as you said that, I was like, but the business is just like so oversaturated. The fitness business.
It is.
It's like, my guy, every fucking thing is oversaturated. What's not oversaturated is the amount of people that actually go and do whatever the fuck they want to do. So if you think about both ideas, it's like you don't have competition because people who want to do it are not doing it.
Correct.
You know? So it's like, man, I commend that man for actually going that far, you know? Like, I think if we create a culture of entrepreneurs and we help each other out as such, you know, because we grew up thinking that there's competition. We grew up thinking that the next man's going to take your shit.
Yeah.
There's not a shortage of resources. There's just a shortage of action.
Correct. A lot of dreamers, not a lot of action doers, you know, like doers.
Well, with your accounting acumen, I think that you will be in a better strategic situation than the other guy, you know? Like if you're competing against me, then I feel very much at a disadvantage because of that, you know?
I feel like, I mean, this is like way off topic, but we're missing a lot of financial management in the school systems. We know how to make money, but we don't know how to manage it. That's a big problem. I mean, people who make money is not the problem that you don't have money. Is that you don't know how to manage it. You know how to spend it. You don't know how to invest it. Yes. So I think I've always been. I mean, personally, I'm not good at saving. I'm really bad at saving money. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. You're not
supposed. Let me tell you something. Like this whole idea of saving, because that's the only thing they taught us, right? Yeah, save your goddamn money. That is the biggest fucking lie that has been sold, because saving should be the concept. The concept of saving is not to have $100,000 in the bank. The concept of saving is to have
more than what you have.
The concept of saving is to have that income, that liquid thing that you could put it into a hard asset when the opportunity comes. You're not saving your money so it could rot there and go down because of inflation.
Correct. You want to multiply it. You want to make it grow.
You know, and people don't teach us that. And it is frustrating. Absolutely.
Sorry, man. Go ahead.
It is frustrating to me to come out of college and to realize that I wasted, literally. I think math is great. I think learning about the solar systems and presidents and slavery is great. But what the fuck has it helped me in any way, shape, or form?
Not really.
Like, it would be a disgrace to find somebody who doesn't know who MLK is. You don't know who Martin Luther King is? Where the fuck have you been? You know? It will be a little bit concerning, but oh my God. Like, the fact that everybody's broke, the fact that everybody's in debt, the fact that the country is going down in shambles, man, like, everything's upside down. Like, we're not being taught how to make money. And it's like, I want to clarify that, because we're being taught how to make somebody else money.
Yeah.
And then that's even more concerning to me. That's even more scary to me.
They're teaching us how to work for someone else as opposed to for yourself.
Yes. Why didn't they teach you about trust funds and creating an LLC and then having your trust be owned by the LLC and you own the trust? And technically you don't own shit. You don't own the company. You don't own your cars. You don't own your house. And if the government goes after you, if you go after me because I fucked up something, you want to sue me, you cannot get anything about me, because the trust owns everything, and the government cannot sue or tax anything that it didn't create itself. It can tax my LLC, but that's why it's owned by the trust. You know, I don't own anything. I just control it.
That's a lot of things that, you know, the system has failed us to do. And I mean, it's cool when you have like you make your own business, but if you don't know how to manage it, it's kind of like a recipe for downfall. You know, it's kind of
That's a recipe for alcoholism, to be honest with you. Because you're going to be like, man, I was making so much money, but, you know, las cariñosas y el perico, you know how it goes. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it's supposed to go.
it isn't, but that's how it goes.
That's why I'm so, and I'm not proud of my past, but that's why I'm so glad that I had a very chaotic one. Because I don't want to get anywhere near that stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to live any kind of like that kind of facet of life. That's like 808 frequency type of shit. You know, just like now I feel like I have some sort of divinity sprinkled in my life. Sometimes I cross paths with somebody beautiful, you know, male or female. I have a conversation with Mr. David, and it's fucking wonderful. But when you're living in the 808 frequency, you know, you're over here hanging out with fucking crackheads and homeless people, and they're talking about like the first time they did meth. It's like, bro, I want to talk to these people who like reminisce about the first time they did their first million.
Yeah.
You know?
Or they help out someone or an idea or something, you know?
Exactly. Like we are talking about nonsense, first of all. Like this whole conversation about gender. We're wasting energy there. We're wasting time. I don't know why we are so fascinated with the idea of creating new stuff. I think we deify ourselves constantly. You know, we want to play God at every waking moment. Even I do. You know, I sometimes look in the mirror, I'm like, man, my shit don't stink. But then I actually take a shit and I realize that I am a person and I'm like you and I and yeah,
Everybody.
I'm like everyone.
It's a good point that you bring up. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying with the government. You know, people who are like out striking, they're like worrying about like, oh, this and that movements. But what about their lives? Like, are you working on being an actual better person? Like, how you contribute to your society? Like, are you a good son? Are you a good friend? Are you a good fellow employee? If you're a good, you know, you help out at work.
And I feel like a lot of these movements are coming from a place of guilt, you know? Like, who are the biggest supporter of the Black Lives Matter if not white people? You know? And they're the ones...
It's a good point you bring up.
And, you know, I saw a lot of Latinos give... I had a situation with a feisty Latina. And she was all for it, you know. She was all for this Black Lives Matter shit and the black box and everything. And don't get me wrong, intention is what matters at the end of the day. Not the movement, not the underlying nefariousness of the bureaucrats. If the individual really wanted to make a change, then that's beautiful to me. But like the framing of the Black Lives Matter situation was that like, okay, but where does everyone else lie? You know, like it's not like the Chinese or Oriental people didn't suffer discrimination.
Yeah,
in this country,
especially
the Ireland people who are also white, you know, the Jewish people who are also white, Mexican people. But the thing about our people, and that's something that I'm very proud of, is that we understand that we come from trauma, for lack of a better word. But we don't resonate with it. We don't acknowledge it. We don't reminisce about it. And we don't put it in your face. We bear the scars and we move on.
That's a good point, yeah.
I mean, when the fuck is your father? When the fuck do you hear your father say that? Like, he went through some racist shit and that's why he is a crackhead.
Probably never. No, yeah, never.
He's not a crackhead. He doesn't give a fuck about racism.
He's a crackhead for a different reason, but that's not it.
Get the fuck out of here. Cheers to that one, bro.
Cheers, bro.
Bro, I'm having a lot of fun.
Me too, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for having me here.
No, dude, like, this is why I do it, because it's fun.
It
you know?
really is,
it's
yeah.
fucking fun, dude. But it cannot be fun if you don't have a good guest.
Appreciate it, man.
It cannot be. So, if anything, thank you for coming over, you know?
Appreciate it, man. Honor.
We definitely have a lot of catching up to do, and I feel like this podcast is not going to be enough. So, we have a cup of coffee pending as well. I don't know, man. I feel like time just passes us by, you know, and And when I look at my good friends, the people that I've perhaps fallen off with, I offer you my apology. But also, man, it doesn't seem like we missed a beat, you know?
Right? It feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
We were at my house, you know.
Dude, I remember those days, man. Hey, what the fuck? How's Isaac doing?
I don't know, man. He always hits me up to know how like Ellie's doing and stuff.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you have Ellie's number? I'm like, I don't know. Like, that fool changes his phone all the time. He breaks his phone. Like, I don't know. He'll be on Facebook. He'll be off of Facebook for like 3 months. I'm like, inconsistent. You know,
me and Ellie had a falling out because he felt that I cherished illicit substances more than I did him. And that's not true. And I don't cherish any human life more than alcohol or any other thing. But the thing is that he kept bugging me for illicit substances. And I'm like, bro, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. And he just got a little bit offended, you know. But I still have a lot of love for the kid, you know. He's not a kid anymore. I'm sure he's a fully grown man. And he could probably whoop me, you know. He was a big boy when I met him, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool cat, man. His heart is in the right place. It's maybe a little lost along the way, but it's a cool cat. We always reminisce about those times because that was I think that was my first time. Yeah, like when we it was Isaac, you and Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. I think I was a sophomore. I actually don't know. Are you a year older than me?
How old are you?
I'm 25.
We're the same age then.
Yeah. And what about like grade?
Class of 2016.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah.
You know, Stephanie Acosta, she also is telling me.
Bro, she's my girl, dude.
I know. Yeah,
what do you mean you know? Then what are you asking me?
No, but she would always tell me, she's like, nah, El Jesse used to be always like, be with tight as fuck.
Yeah.
In middle school.
It's again, like, talking about people like that, like her in particular, let me tell you that. It makes me sad. Because it takes me all the way back to my childhood. Like, I've known her since first grade, and I've seen her grow up and to the beautiful woman that she is, the strong woman that she is, and I'm proud of her, you know. Yeah. But it makes me sad because like the friendship is not what it was. You know what I mean?
That happens, and I've learned to understand that people, maybe they're not put, but they're there in the specific time in your life because they were meant to be there, and then like not a lot of people they're not forever, and I mean, and nobody's forever, you know. We all die, but for sure the memories remain forever, and
Absolutely.
You're just kind of like,
and we're still friends. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, of course, dude. Like I feel you completely because the swim team we used to be like super tight too. We were cool, but you know, everything changes after high school. Huh?
Absolutely, man.
You know something so off topic? I always I'm pretty sure. Do you know the band Blackbird Brides?
Absolutely.
You remind me a lot of Andy Six, bro.
You're not the first one to tell me that.
Yes, dude, I'm so glad. I thought it was the only one, dude.
No, you're not the only one. But I'm surprised you're actually saying that at this point because back then I kind of did try to look like him.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But even like, not just like the look, but the way you. I mean, first of all, like, right off the bat, I can point out that you love Batman just as much as he does.
Okay.
Like a bunch, and then, the way you express yourself, the way you talk. It's really similar to the way he is, but I'm pretty sure that's just you, and like that's not intentionally. Maybe at one point when you were like really like.
Well, you gotta listen. You gotta understand that my personality was based on him when I was like in the 7th grade, right?
Yeah.
And so it carried over to high school, right? And it was funny because I actually talked about this in my last podcast, how I would paint my face, I would paint my nails, like around 7th, 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
And when I painted my nails, well, obviously it's there for a while, right? It's not a temporary thing. Well, it is a temporary thing, but it's not like a gone. Yeah, it's gonna be there. And some motherfucker was walking by in my art class, and he looked over and he saw that I had painted nails. I was like, "What are you? Some kind of fag or something?" And I'm like. Shocked, you know, like this guy just insulted me, you know. Like, how dare he?
The way you said it, bro.
Yeah. so I'm really confused because this is the first time I actually got attacked in that way, like directly. Like I didn't
because of your appearance.
just imagine like being spat on your face. Like of course the first reaction is to be hit, but it's not so nuanced when it's like a word. A word can feel like you got slapped in the face or spat on the face, but it wasn't that. So how do you react? You know, I didn't know how to react. So I got out of class and I was talking to my friend. His name was David, actually.
Interesting.
Tocayo. And I was like, yeah, man, this motherfucker was calling me
Solis.
shit. Yes, dude. How did you know?
We went to the same high school, bro.
God damn, bro. I have to get that motherfucker on the podcast.
You really have to, bro. He's a cool ass dude.
Bro, me and him, it sucks, man. It sucks because, like, the people that even now I feel love. I feel true, unconditional love for these motherfuckers. But it's like, the falling off was because of his fucking dad. His dad wanted to fight me.
Interesting.
Yeah, his dad wanted to fucking box me. And I was like, whatever. And I got offended because David told me, oh, yeah, dude, you don't want to do that because my dad would fuck you up. And I took it. I'm like, bro, I'm defending you, motherfucker. What do you mean he would fuck me up? But it's like, it wasn't anything.
And anyone that's watching this didn't go to Monwood, they're like, oh, we know the drama of Monwood, huh? They're like, this motherfucker's from Monwood, bro.
Fucking Wood Boys. Hey, were you in that Wood Boy scene?
Nah, bro.
Nah.
Like,
Those motherfuckers are crazy, dude.
Never really understood that scene. Was it like, it was prior to our grade, or was it like when we were freshmen?
No, because it was Wood Boys, and then like the middle school shit was like PBM and stuff, Pretty Boy Mafia.
That I never knew. I mean, I would hear.
Well, it's because Pretty Boy Mafia ended up turning Wood Boys at some point, you know.
But what exactly was it? Because I would hear like, so people would joke about and like, oh, so you're Wood Boy, you know, because
it's a party crew. It's a party crew.
It's a party
well, I mean,
crew.
let's just like you could call it whatever. It's a gang, right?
Oh, okay.
It's a fucking gang, but you could call it like Revelers. You could call it a motorcycle club. You could call it a party crew. I don't give a fuck. It's a gang, you know. It's you guys are organized. You guys are identifying by this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a gang. It's a fucking gang.
Would they do like some type of act of violence or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
if you go to a Wood Boy party, there's gonna be a fucking fight, especially if an Eldo dude shows up. You know. Yeah, it got to that point. You know.
I never was that. What was that like? What years do you remember, more or less?
Before our time.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense.
The Wood Boys died out kind of like when we were coming into high school. I knew about Wood Boys like in 8th grade. You know,
shit.
Because of the PBM stuff that was going on in our school, you know.
PBN?
Yeah, because I guess